What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Golden 83, and I am here to do a random monthly manifestation. Okay. Remember, you guys, these are general messages, not personal. So take what resonates and pass the rest to the next. Okay. I haven't done monthly manifestations in a very long time. I actually, if I recall, the last time I ever did one was like around last August. And the crazy thing is that I had summaries all written up for the months of 2024. So I'm kind of going to interject September's um, from last year into this one a little bit. Um, Getting this vibe that there could be some people that may kind of like be behind in completion of some of their goals, or as far as pertaining to like personal growth possibly. So I'm going to interject those in. Like I said, this is going to be a random one. I could not really get a read on a particular sign that necessarily needed the reading. We'll see how these go as far as interjecting these in. I don't know whether or not if I'm going to get these done every month or not, but it's probably going to be like on an as needed basis. Okay. So first, I'm going to talk about the month itself. Okay. So we're kind of at the tail end of August with the new moons falling at the end of the month lately, such as August 23rd, which has passed already, and then September 21st, which is International Day of Peace, and a partial solar eclipse. The universe is calling for new habits or change, or new opportunities and ideas that are going to emerge. Full moons are occurring at the beginning of each month as of lately. August 9th for the month of August, and then September 7th with a full corn moon. The corn moon is more so or less in regards to agriculture, a peak time to harvest corn or peel back the layers around your solar plexus, okay? The root of creativity and joy. For some, it could be marking the completion of an old phase to welcome in the new, okay? Just like corn, there is about to be a wild growth of abundance in multiple forms, self-wealth being the most important, with other areas of your life expanding for the good if you follow the signs that Spirit is showing you. You can feel the energy shift, such as reflecting before you act, a sense of peace, learning to walk away instead of entertaining any kind of negative energy, learning lessons from the past, slowing down, epiphanies in rest or through dreams. Okay, so you may find yourself, it could be, you could be listening to a song and it may invoke a lesson learned or a memory of something. You could see something. You can maybe find yourself, I'm kind of feeling an energy of like sitting near a lake or a pier, more so or less, and just, reflecting. Okay. You probably are wanting a lot of quiet. Again, the word I'm feeling the most is peace. Wanting some sense of peace of mind, more so or less, and we can all use some of that. Okay. As far as from last year for September, it was like a powerful month of reflection and enlightenment. The number 9 signifies the completion of a phase. At the time, there were 9 days between the new moon and the first quarter moon. So it was a time for you to ask yourself, are you ready for the next chapter in your life? Have you completed the goal that you set at the beginning of the year? Okay, who do or do you want to continue on the path you're on, regardless of the difficulties? Okay, so maybe some of you started a goal last year. It may not have been at the beginning of the year, but it could have been around the time of September. And maybe things got a little bit too difficult, or maybe timing was just off for whatever the situation was or what you were trying to achieve, and you backed away from it. So regardless of how difficult it was did you pull away because it was too difficult, is something that you need to ask yourself. Okay, so it may be time for you to revisit it, and maybe replan or reorganize, so that way you can actually pick up either where you left off or start anew. Okay, as I said before, the 21st is still International Day of Peace. Avoid conflicts, whether internal or external. Try and center yourself 4 days after the full moon to protect your peace. Okay, so pull off of that full moon energy, in the sense of completion and kind of recentering yourself. The 30th is National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Take the time to recenter yourself, to be honest with those who may have hurt you, and call truce. Do not let bad blood consume you. Discuss with compassion and understanding. Okay, that was from last year. That is still relevant this year. Okay, I don't know about anybody else, but if you feel yourself kind of still reflecting on the past, considering reconciliation or rekindling something, revisiting reunions of some sort, it's kind of time for you to take a step forward, okay, in that process. All right, but again, with compassion and understanding, okay? So, like I said, those are the summaries. That's the summary for September with a mix of August because we're headed out. These, of course, I don't know whether or not if I'm going to read all of that over again for each one. So whoever gets drawn first, you're one of the lucky ones. Okay, I'll probably just use a few tidbits from it. Okay, so let's see who's going to be the first reading, and it is Gemini. Okay, so Gemini, you are the first out of the singing bowl. Like I said, just randomly selecting these Gemini. So I'm going to put you over to the side, and here is your placement card, so that way Spirit knows we are working with Gemini's energy. Okay, we're going to start with the Moonology deck, picking 3 cards, top, bottom, and middle. Based off of new moon energy, first quarter moon energy, and full moon energy. Okay, if you've been on the channel, you already know the premise behind these monthly manifestations. The new moon is always the time where new energy comes around, hence new moon, but you may find yourself getting new ideas, again, possibly epiphanies, so on and so forth. And you want to take the time to start then. Come the first quarter moon, you should be halfway through your progress, okay? If it's a material goal, it's best to kind of set the tone to the moon phases, okay? In order to keep you in alignment towards the completion, which is the full moon, okay? Full moon is when you should be finished with your steps towards your goal, okay? If you have extended steps or you still need time, give yourself that. It all depends on what it is that you're working towards, okay? So, that being said, we shuffle 3 times, we cut the deck, and we're going to pull for, like I said, each moon phase. New moon energy from the bottom. We're getting the first quarter moon energy, and then one energetically from the middle, and my eye is like going every which way. My hand is shaking just a little bit, trying to get the card that Spirit has guided me to, and that is the full moon energy. I'm going to move the Rider's Waite here because we're going to look at the bottom of the deck to see what the overall outcome is of the energy, okay? So, let's see where you are for the new moon energy, all right? What should be the mindset towards your intention or goal during the new moon? Your hard work is paying off, okay? Your hard work is paying off. Again, this is for the month of September, but you can also include August, okay? Because like I said, how the new moon and the full moon are, it almost feels like a delay, if you will, but you've been working so hard, you probably haven't even been keeping up with the time, okay? Capricorn energy is here in new moon, and I think we just had a phase of Capricorn. I can't remember right now, but if you know, you can put it in the comments. But new moon energy, you possibly are reflecting and seeing that your hard work is starting to pay off, okay, in the month, like I said, between August into September, okay? Whatever it is you've been working on, Gemini, you have been diligently working at it, okay? I'm feeling the energy of 6 months to a year, possibly, of something you've been working on that is finally, maybe bringing some form of income or movement of some sort, okay? It may feel slow to you, but it's actually moving at the right pace, okay? As to not overwhelm you, okay? Now, let's get into this first quarter moon energy. Will or have you made any progress by the first quarter moon? So, first quarter moon, and I am squinting profusely at my calendar from afar, okay? As far as August, I believe the first quarter moon was either on the 16th or is going to be on the 31st. Give me un momento, okay? Yes, so the 31st, all right, last quarter moon was on the 16th. And again, like I said, with the moon phases kind of being behind each other, and I can't remember when it officially started, when it was starting to run like that, but it does make you feel slightly off track, okay? So let's see what's going on with that. Will or have you made any progress come the first quarter moon, come the 31st, okay, of August? Be bold and make the first move, okay? Be bold and make the first move, okay? So whatever it is that you have going on, Gemini, and we're going to use, I keep saying, I know you Like, what is it that I have going on? Spirit doesn't want me to say just yet, okay? We will clarify with the Rider's Waite in a little bit, okay? But one thing about monthly manifestations, or in general any reading, if Spirit doesn't want me to speak on something directly, God, Spirit, universe, whatever your belief is, knows what it is, okay? And for some, there is some cross-watching energy going on, and so that's why I'm, kind of holding back from saying anything further, okay? But nonetheless, be bold and make the first move, all right? So that is possibly either you already have and it pays off, possibly around next week, okay, going into September, okay? I'm not going to sit up here and try and tell you a particular date, just saying that you probably either already have gotten something by now or it's on its way to present itself in September, all right? Now, let's get into this full moon energy. Has or is the intention or goal being achieved, okay? Has or is the intention or goal being achieved? A time to give rather than take, okay? Virgo energy is here, all right? With a new moon in Virgo, all right? I more so pay attention to the sign than the actual moon phase that may be attached to the cards, okay? A time to give rather than take, full moon energy. So that means whatever is your intended goal, as far as if it's being achieved, what have you not done or had the time to do as far as giving instead of receiving, okay? That has kind of been a message that has kind of flowed from like beginning of the year. I think with these monthly manifestations, or around the time that I last did one, in the sense of getting or giving back in multiple ways, whether it be church, to a friend that's been helpful, spiritually, things of that nature, okay? So your goal is being achieved. Possibly for some of you, you already have been giving and now you are about to receive, okay? So let's see what the overall outcome is with all this energy. You and your loved ones are safe. Cancer energy is here. New moon. So a lot of new moon energy, okay, is coming up. So far, it's came up at least 3 times within this first part of the spread for you, Gemini. And so everything is good. Maybe from last year, you may have had some family struggles. And so now maybe there's a little bit more stability. Maybe not it's immediate family, but I'm also feeling possibly extended family for some of you. I did hear a sign of Leo possibly being part or connected to you, Gemini. So I don't know if that may be your spouse, possibly. Maybe had some issues, but they have subsided, or will be subsiding soon, okay, for some of you. Now, let's get into the Rider's Waite, where we're going to actually clarify some of this energy, okay? I'm just referring to my book for my layout, because again, it has been a minute since I've done these. So we're going to shuffle 3 times, but Spirit says 4, and we'll cut by 3. Okay, so that was the third shuffle. Okay. And we'll cut by 3. Chris has one more cut. And another one over here for some reason. It's going to come over here. This one here. And this one here. Okay. We're going to do the same thing. One from the top for new moon energy. One from the bottom for first quarter moon energy. One directly from the middle energetically. And that's full moon energy. And then we'll also flip over the deck in regards to what the overall outcome is in this energy here. Okay, so let's see what's clarifying your hard work is paying off, Gemini. And it is the 3 of Wands. Okay, 3 of Wands coming up with your hard work is paying off. I feel as though if you're familiar with Page of Wands, you have the Page of Wands, then 2, and then 3. So I feel like you've been slowly kind of building up a foundation possibly, which is more so or less feeling like it's clarifying this hard work that you've been putting in, okay? There's only one more piece or one more integral piece left for you to do, okay? I do love the number 3, more so or less coming up because it's leaning towards centering, recentering yourself again, okay? Where things are starting to make sense. I feel this energy of like getting the lay of the land, that may be significant to some of you, because that's what's pretty much going on in this picture, okay? Someone has stood these foundations of these wands in the ground, and it's like looking ahead for where to put the next one, okay? Let's get into the first quarter moon energy, okay? Same thing. What is clarifying? Be bold and make the first move. And it's the 7 of Swords, okay? 7 of Swords, be bold and make the first move, okay? It doesn't feel like it's primarily you. For some of you, Gemini, it could be someone else who's going to make the first move, or feels like explaining or explanations happening. So possibly a conversation, more so or less of explanation of not actions, but maybe of feelings, behavior, or something to that effect. I'm not sure. It's kind of going up and down in a way. That may be something that's coming up, more so or less, again, with international peace and reconciliation and truth. Those 2 national days coming up, bringing forth a lot of honesty. But you also, for others, you could be tying up something as far as taking the initiative. If it's something work related or on a personal standpoint, you're going to be the first one to move, and it's almost like feeling like in preparation for something during first quarter moon, like I said, and that's coming up on the 31st. Okay, so let's see what's in full moon energy, clarifying that a time to give rather than take is the Ten of Swords. Okay, so for the Ten of Swords to be coming out during a time to give rather than take, someone is in the sense of maybe tired of giving. So maybe when I spoke on it, when the card came out, you probably were like, I've been giving, when am I going to get mine? Okay, sometimes you have to give without wanting to receive. Okay, and so maybe you're tired of being the good one who's always giving all the time, and that's totally understandable. I can truly relate. Okay, I can truly relate, and it's unfortunate that it is a lot of give and take. Okay, and some have to give more in order to receive more, if that's what you're more so or less looking for, Gemini, or just wanting a break from giving all the time. And you have to be willing to say no. Okay, if there are certain things that you have a control over how much you give, if it is your time, if it is money, if it is patience, whatever the situation is for you, you have the ability to say no when you don't or can't do. Okay, so learn to do that, Gemini, in order for you to kind of start receiving. Okay, and sometimes you have to give to yourself. All right, just as much as you give to others. Okay, just as much as you give to someone else, you have to return that to yourself and not expect it from someone else all the time. All right, so let's see what the overall outcome, what's clarifying this: you and your loved ones are safe. We have the Five of Cups. Okay, 3 cups down, 2 cups still standing. Okay, so some form of disappointment, or more so or less focusing on what's not where you want it to be, possibly. And you have to realize or try to find the silver lining. Okay, with a 5 of Cups situation, and it's more so or less deriving from emotion. Again, you're looking at, yes, out of 5 cups, 3 are down, and that's a lot of cups to be laying on the ground, but you still have 2. Okay, and you could just as easily pick up one of those cups, all right, and find a way to kind of look at the upside of things. All right, sometimes you have to be okay with losing something in order for you to gain something better back. Okay, and maybe it's a time for you to be grateful and appreciative of what you do have. I always try to say, even to myself, to be thankful for the things that I have not received yet, because maybe I'm not ready for it yet. Okay, and we have to be okay with that. If you're struggling with that, you have to look deeper into the meaning of why something isn't going the way that it should. Okay, it could be something that you're not paying attention to. Okay, and again, just because you don't have it now doesn't mean you can't get it later. Okay, it's just not imperative right now. All right, so let's get into the making magic. What is the message of support to achieve or manifest for Gemini? What is the message of support to achieve or manifest for Gemini? Okay. was about to take that one because it almost didn't want to go back in. I'm going to stop there. Nothing completely, jumped out. Spirit is saying 2 cards for you guys. Shuffling again. All right. There's 1. Little luxuries. Okay. Little luxuries. Which says generates luxurious expenses in surroundings. Okay. Generates luxurious expenses in surroundings. So again, you're going to be able to afford certain things that are considered a luxury to you, whatever that is. Little, okay? Keywords is little. Nothing grand, just something little, okay? I know for myself, I've been more so or less indulging in a few, foods. I'm a Taurus, so everything's always going to be surrounding by food. But I've been able to, enjoy, little things as far as pertaining to the food world, okay? For you, it could be, a little, weekend excursion, maybe a sporting event or something. Whatever is considered a luxury to you, okay? Something flipped. I got it. All right. Which is our second one, which is perseverance, okay? Perseverance. The motivation to keep going despite the odds, okay? The motivation to keep going despite the odds. This feels like confirmation of that 5 of Cups that just came out, okay? So keep persevering no matter what, all right? We're going to go to the elemental deck with a question of what is the energy of the present self for Gemini? What is the energy of the present self for Gemini? Wrapping up your reading here. This is my favorite part of this reading because we talk and find out what's going on with your present self currently, Gemini, and then we focus on your higher self, okay? Which is primarily, you have 3D, which is your present self, and then you have 5D, or your subconscious, okay? And we're going directly to the bottom of the deck. And so we have power volcanoes, okay? Power volcanoes. So I feel this energy more so or less of really awakening, feels like root chakra energy. That's also tied to the heart chakra. It's the number 9 also. So again, some form of completion of maybe holding things within. I feel like this is kind of like an ignite my passion kind of moment. But it says old grudges should be released and let go. Heavy energy hurts us. Heavy energy hurts us should we hold it for too long. Allow your anger to flow through you rather than saving it all up for an explosive release. Reformation may be necessary. Sometimes the greatest powers are hidden from view. You have the power to create or destroy, okay? You have the power to create or destroy, all right? So again, like I said earlier at the beginning, this month is, again, the 9th month of the year, is also the month of 2 major days national holidays of peace and retribution. Um, and so it is really encouraging us to release and let go. Deal with the things that you can. Do not entertain any kind of negativity. If someone is trying to provoke you, learn to walk away. I know that is easier said than done, but trust me, the battle is already won, okay? When you decide to choose silence and your peace, okay? Instead of entertaining negativity, okay? Because someone who's trying to disrupt your peace is projecting, all right? And we don't have time for people who want to project. So now is the time, Gemini. What is the potential energy for the higher self of Gemini? What is the potential energy for the higher self of Gemini? We're going to do the same thing. 3 shuffles. And parting by 3. And directly to the bottom of the deck. And we have the law of creation. Okay? The law of creation. Focus your mind to create your deepest desires, okay? Focus your mind to create your deepest desires. It feels like there's this like spiritual hallway. There's a lake here, but it's then kind of leading to some stairs that ends to that, light at the end of the tunnel kind of vibe. All right. So I feel like I said, you could be still pulling from last year's energy a bit, and kind of catching up. And now, whatever you were focused on, you're recentering yourself, and there could be an extension of that, that now is an even bigger desire, if that makes sense. So it's like, you've done the first couple of phases of something, and then now it's time for you to expand, or it expands to something a little bit deeper for you. Okay? So going to page 5. If you like numerology, 5 promotes change, okay? So you have 9 numbers that I feel are very important to your reading are 9, 3, and 5, okay? Focus your mind to create your deepest desires. You are directing energy upon universal law and manifesting the outpicturing of your life right now with zero effort whatsoever. This card, your higher self, desires for you to awaken to the truth of who you are. You are a divine spiritual being, creating your reality via the beliefs within your soul. This is a message telling you to acknowledge yourself for all the beautiful things and experiences you have created up to this point in your life. Pick one thing today to create without getting sidetracked and complete it. Once you have accomplished this one thing, you will experience more of your divinity and ability to consciously create. Take inventory of the beliefs you have about yourself, people, and life. What beliefs do you choose to keep, and which ones no longer serve your higher purpose? Okay? Spirit manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creations. The manifest universe is the body of spirit. This creative principle works for everyone equally. Okay? So, regain that focus if you find yourself feeling a little deterred again with this Five of Cups and focusing on something that really is very minuscule instead of looking at the bigger picture. Gemini, find a way to recenter yourself as much as possible, okay? And focus on what you have, your progression so far, all right, with this particular situation or project that you've had, okay? So with that being said, your reading obviously super extended because we added the summaries in there, but hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight. Feel free to give me a like. If you are not subscribed to the channel already, I truly welcome all positive energy. Feel free to leave a comment if any of this was relatable to you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.